Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're stepping out of the light and straight into the shadows. We are unpacking a truly grim, dark, gothic fable today. We're going to explore this deeply nihilistic philosophy hidden right inside our source text, and we're looking at the true nature of immortality. It's a philosophical and psychological deep dive into a concept we usually think of as, well, a dream. But as we'll see, it's very much a nightmare. So settle in and let's explore the agony of the eternal return. Just let that sink in for a second. A repetitive whisper in a universe that does not care. Man, that is bleak. But this is the true psychological toll of the dark fable we're exploring today. When you strip away all that romanticized nonsense about living forever, this is the chilling reality that's left over. Every single action, every shout of triumph, every cry of grief, without an end to actually give them boundaries, they're reduced to nothing but this fading, completely meaningless whisper. Which brings us to part 1, the curse of immortality. So, to really understand this, we need to step right into the first chapter of our dialectical fable. We meet our two central figures locked in this awful, eternal dance. First, you have the immortal wanderer. He's desperate, he's exhausted, and he's literally begging for an end to the ceaseless marching seasons. Release me, he's pleading. Just let this cycle finish. But then there's the Reaper. And the Reaper doesn't attack. She just watches, silently. Her silence is her response in this dialogue. She knows the truth that he is only just starting to figure out. The curse of immortality isn't some gift she withheld. It's an agonizing prison. She's just standing there as a witness to his unrelenting torment. Now, what's really interesting here is how this completely flips our usual understanding of living forever. We always equate immortality with, an abundance of life. We want more time. But the text defines it instead as a terrifying suspension of meaning. It's not an extension at all. It's a trap. Without death, life doesn't keep growing. It just gets suspended in this unending, agonizing holding pattern where meaning literally cannot take root. Let's move into part 2, trapped in the cyclical abyss. Moving deeper into the actual mechanics of this curse, the source text introduces us to the cyclical abyss. Notice the language being used here. It's framed as an immutable law of this dark universe. Instead of life being a straight line that moves neatly from beginning to end, the soul is forced to experience unending loops. Just imagine experiencing incredible purpose and then crushing loss, then purpose again, then loss again, indefinitely. You never actually reach a final resolution. You're just endlessly circling the drain of eternity. And to fully grasp this terrifying state of existence, our source breaks down 4 defining characteristics of the cyclical abyss. We've got the Sisyphean treadmill, the erosion of consequence, stagnation as a mockery, and finally, the hollow dawn. We're going to break each of these down right now because together, they basically map out the perfect anatomy of eternal suffering. Here's part 3, the Sisyphean treadmill. Let's see how this builds. This first pillar of the cyclical abyss actually borrows from ancient myth to explain a really specific type of agony. To understand what the wanderer is going through, we have to realize that for you and me, the passage of time feels like progress, right? But for the immortal, it's a literal Sisyphean treadmill. They walk through these marching seasons only to watch once great empires crumble right around them. They find connection, they fall in love, only to watch those loved ones wither away and literally be reduced to dust. And then what? The cycle just starts all over. They encounter triumphs and tragedies over and over until those events lose all their intrinsic value. They're forced to witness the end of absolutely everything, except themselves. A perpetual stranger to the sweet finality of rest. It's incredibly solemn, isn't it? The wanderer is completely alienated from the one single thing that grants humanity peace. Think about that amazing feeling of relief when you finally go to sleep after a really long, hard day. The wanderer is permanently denied that ultimate ending. They're stuck in this relentless, waking state, which makes the very idea of an ending seem incredibly sweet. Moving on to part 4, the erosion of consequence. This right here brings us to the psychological climax of our explainer. We've seen the physical repetition, sure, but now we need to look at how eternity systematically destroys the very fabric of meaning itself. I want to ask you this directly. Really put yourself into this nihilistic void for a second. What actually happens when there is no final stop? If your life has an infinite amount of time, how important is any single decision you make today? If you can just try again in 100 years or 1,000 years, what happens to the weight of your choices? So, the crucial point here is that because no true ending exists within the abyss, this chilling chain reaction kicks off. Step 1, no ending, which leads to step 2,
Without finality, every single choice is systematically stripped of its significance. And that leads to step 3. Ultimately, existence transforms into a mockery of itself. A huge triumph doesn't matter because it's eventually going to fade. Profound grief doesn't matter because you will outlive the memory of it anyway. The total lack of finality just completely erodes the consequence of absolutely everything.
Instead of a long life leading to, I don't know, ultimate wisdom or personal growth, it just leads to unrelenting stagnation. The immortal is forced to carry this crushing weight of endless time, but they have absolutely nothing left to achieve or gain. They are completely frozen psychologically, even as the physical world is just spinning out of control rapidly on its treadmill right around them.
And finally, part 5. A perpetual hollow dawn.
And this brilliantly illustrates the bleakest conclusion of our dark fable. It's the ultimate tragedy of the wanderer. We realize that the finality of rest, death, is actually a profound mercy. It's the boundary that grants our lives beauty and purpose. But the cyclical abyss fiercely denies that mercy. Instead of an end, it just offers a perpetual hollow dawn. It's a new day over and over again, but it's completely empty. Despite their eternal duration, the immortal inherits absolutely nothing. Duration is mistaken for value. This is it right here. This is the ultimate fatal flaw exposed by the source text. We humans, we look at a long life and we just automatically assume it's a valuable life, but this philosophy brutally dismantles that whole idea. Simply existing for a long time does not generate meaning. Without the punctuation of an ending, an infinite sentence becomes just a string of chaotic, meaningless letters. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly chilling thought to ponder. In a boundless theater of time where nothing ever ends, does anything truly matter? The agony of the eternal return strongly suggests that the answer is no. It's actually the finality of our mortal existence that makes it beautiful in the first place. I really hope this deep dive into the cyclical abyss gave you a completely new perspective on the philosophy of time and meaning. Thank you so much for exploring this incredible text with me today on This Explainer, and remember, keep questioning the universe around you.